Hi Vinita, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you for asking. So can you tell me something about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So I'm a seasoned QA lead, having around 12 years of experience in various automation tools such as Selenium, Cucumber, Postman, Ready API, Tosca, and various test management tools like Jira, Confluence, and also various database tools like Mainframe, JDB, DMS, RDBMS, Dreamio, Snowflake, etc. I started my career with Cognizant as a fresher, wherein I got opportunity to work as a manual tester, and then I shifted to automation tester, predominantly working on the Selenium UI testing. Then for past 8 years, I'm working with Accenture, the client called Marriott International. So me and my team develop and test the APIs which runs behind their mobile, web, and multiple channels which used by across the globe people. So my day-to-day task, involve creating test plan, test strategy, creating refining the user criteria with my business analyst. We have a working agile environment wherein we have a 3 months PI and 2 weeks of sprint. So it's like we have to plan sprint deliverables, and we have to check day to day progress that will be able to meet the sprint deliverables on time. And if there is any potential slippage on that, I have to inform to my product project managers. My day to day task also involves sending status mails, getting a requirement clarification done from dev team or business team. And we have as I mentioned, right, our APIs are being consumed by multiple channels, so there are endless integration, end-to-end UAT test cycles going on. So I've been part of multiple defect triage calls, handover calls. And once this is the and also it requires I'm leading right now with the team which I'm working. I'm leading with people of 8 team members. So we have a functional, we have mobile, we have performance, and automation also slowly picking up because we just started with this. I'm started with a new project recently. So that's the thing. And also once our system testing completes 70-80%, my role is to automate those scripts in the Ready API tool. So we use the Ready API tool for automation, and we use for CI/CD pipelines we use Jenkins, and for Git, yeah, version control we use Git. And I am a yeah, that's
Hmm.
that's all.
Great, great. Okay. So how do you perform root cause analysis?
Okay, so once we raise a defect, we assign it to dev team, and then they we will sit together. Let's say it's a bug. Uh, so mainly the dev team will be analyzing the root cause, because when we create a bug, let's say it's a UI defect, right? So as per the mockup or as per the requirement specification document, the UI should be visible, or the label should be visible like that. But they have done some spelling mistakes, right? So that kind of defect, we have to put a screenshots and everything, and we can ask them,
Mm.
uh, and they can basically in our team they put a root cause analysis
Mm.
details on the over the bug before closing it or before deploying it to QA. So we don't
Right,
do that.
right, right. So in case of root cause analysis from the testing perspective, you can check if it's an environment issue or if it's an
Okay.
application issue or if
Okay.
it is something that is related to some infrastructure, right? Maybe some of the machine dependency was there or some Windows service dependency was there, which is not working, right? Or some of the libraries, if it is not working. So those kind of things you can check from the testing angle.
Mhm.
And you can also come up whether it's a behavior or maybe the stakeholder or the client who has reported the defect. They are under the impression that it's a defect. Maybe it's a functionality,
Okay.
maybe it's a behavior that
Function.
was given to you in the Jira, right? So you're following agile methodology. So can you
Mhm.
describe any situation where you were not able to understand the acceptance criteria that was mentioned in the Jira user story? And how did you take care from there onwards?
Okay, so before, let's say we have a refinement sessions with business analyst and business teams. First of all, getting into a requirement, if we have a particular user stories, we try to get the, reviews or walkthrough calls with business, which includes the business teams and our business analyst. Based on that, we so once, let's say I got a user story, we sit dev and team QA sit together.
Mm,
We have a walkthrough session internally first, and then based on our walkthrough, we get an understanding. Okay, this functionality should be worked like this. Let's say if I have a 5 questions out of it, so we'll prepare a mock-up Q&A sheet, and
mm,
we have a core hours calls between on the alternate date basis with the business. So let's say wherein we clarify, so we have multi-vendor team, we have 4 upstream team above us, and we are the last one who are just the last one who goes to the UAT mode.
mm,
So basically wherein we every twice a week we have a core hours wherein we have connecting everyone, all the vendor teams and business teams, wherein
mm,
we put the mock-up Q&A sheet and ask the clarification on the call. If
mm,
the it happens, we get a clarification there and there itself, and we maintain that particular thing, and we
mm,
accordingly we'll update the Jira stories. And if that requires a document, business document needs to be updated, we
mm.
request the business team to update that accordingly, and so that everyone will be same page, the UAT testers, integration tester, testing team, and us also. So that way we do that.
So indirectly or directly, you're telling you'll be connecting, you'll be collaborating with the business analyst or the
Yes,
project managers,
yes,
and you'll be documenting the missing things that are not there in the user
yes,
story.
yes,
And maybe you will add some comments in the story because the story is
yes,
already been created, or you'll add the documentation, further
yes,
documentation that is required in that user story for doing the testing.
yeah.
Okay. Do you
We
have
have
some?
a this thing mock-up Q&A sheet updated for everything. So we put a link, we put a clarification, tag everyone so that everyone is aware. Or let's say in something, if some gaps are there in the UAT testing, we quickly go and check in Jira that okay, we have been discussed this over thing, and it's been clarified that way. So
Right.
that's we follow.
Great. Wonderful. Okay. So you are tagging so that everyone comes to know
Yes,
that these are the
yes,
changes that has been made. Hmm.
yes.
Um, how do you deal with the external vendor? Do you have any experience with it?
Yeah, we just this right now we the project which I'm working for past 6 months, we are working on the Power BI reporting tool wherein we have six four upstream teams above us, and
Hmm,
we are the one last one who consumes all of them. So yeah, it's a multi-vendor team which have onshore and offshore kind of stuff. So two teams are on from purely onshore, and 2 teams are offshore Indian companies. So
hmm,
basically, it's a data collaboration, right? So it's basically required a lot of collaboration and open communication. As I mentioned, right, we have a weekly calls. So as and when we get any requirements, we try to get internally sorted out. If not, then we have a walkthrough sessions with them. If
hmm,
required, we involve business. Sometimes we ask a vendor to that particular team that we can have a walkthrough session before starting the development, so that we will get the clarification what we needed, and accordingly we'll update the Jira stories. And if there is estimation point of view, there is some lag. Let's say during estimations we had tell okay, this can be done in 8 story point, but after discussing with vendor and the implementation was going above 13 story points, we have to inform according to the sprint our product managers and etc. So
hmm,
yeah, it's required an open cross communications, and you have to be very diplomatic and to deal with them, get the work done, because everyone is working on their own pace timelines. So if you need some urgency, you have to drop a mail, you have to connect with them. So we
hmm,
have a collaboration calls. So we have multiple collaboration calls wherein 4 teams comes together twice or thrice in a week, and they sit and we discuss one by one. Okay, one team, what is your open items for, if you have any dependency for the other team, etc. So that collaboration we do, and it's going well on seamlessly. And
hmm,
apart from that, we created a strong relationship between them. So even if I need a urgent help on the specific person, we have a group chats created on the teams. Immediately we can ask them the help. Similarly, they can ask. So we have a open communication here.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Right, right. So that's a great thing. Okay. Okay. So these days you can see there are various AI tools that are coming in the market like ChatGPT, Gemini. Do you think these AI tools will be replacing the testers?
Uh, See, it can certainly help
Mm,
to speed up the process, but human intervention is required because
mm,
we think, machine can't think different perspective, right? A human, let's say a manual tester, right? If you talk about the manual versus automation, if you
mm,
say the automation can replace the manual testing, no, because it can behave a certain way, which you programmed. Like if you say if else, then it will perform in certain way. But a human innovation, human person will think five different ways to test the particular project, the product. Of
mm,
course, you can automate that flow, but again, manual testing. Similarly, manual testing still is going on. We have to do a manual testing before going into automation. So
mm,
similar way, it can help. It can speed up the process of work, but it cannot replace fully. That's my opinion.
mm, mm, mm. So do you leverage these AI tools in your testing?
Yeah. So we have so basically we have a on support tool Cortana and AI tools integrated within the space. So let's say we are working on the Dreamio, right? So
Mm,
we have in that tool particularly integrated that AI tool,
mm,
wherein it immediately pop up the errors and the queries are if the queries are wrong, it can immediately pop up or highlight those areas wherein you can change the things and you can quickly complete your queries or executions. So that way we are using that. So our client has given that. So we have a specific browser wherein we can use those AI tools under the what you can say security thing. So we are using those tools. It is helping actually.
So when you say it is assisting you in running the queries, so what kind of queries
Yeah.
you are referring here? The
So
SQL
basically
queries,
right
maybe?
now SQL queries. Yeah.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. Can you tell us something about your contribution? What is your contribution in the project in which you are working? Anything that you have specifically mentioned or you have done apart from the other team members and apart from the routine work of testing and providing sign off? Anything that you have done? Yeah.
Okay, so as I said, right, I'm leading a people of 8 team members, and
Mm,
apart from all daily activities, the status and managing the team,
mm,
I like to, use automation in my day-to-day life. I prefer doing that because, let's say, for example, just now we have a Zephyr tool, right, to update, automate, to upload all the test cases in Jira. Uh, After that there are multiple processes which we have to do, like linking, assigning. We unfortunately we did not have the configuration done from the PMO side. We asked, but it could not be done. So I recently involved, I got to know that there is a Jira automation also present, and I have done. So we have been facing this linking issues, Jira link issues for the particular story, and there are huge number of test cases. And then I thought like how we can do it. Uh, Automation, using automations. I got to know Jira automation, and then I developed this script. Like it's a tool. It's integrated in Jira. We can use rules and link. You can customize if, then, when, what will be the things you can do. So it was a click of button. The 4 hours or 5 hours task. It is a click of button. Like you can search the test cases. Assign it in made the changes in progress, done quickly. Everything will be a click of button. So that I've done. And when I propose the solution to my PMO team or a multi, since we are multi-vendor teams, everyone is struggling on that part because we have a lot of orphan test cases sitting
mm,
on the bucket, and it is raising the questions with the PMO team. Why your team have a 600 orphan test cases? If you do it by manually, it will take hours to complete that. Then I propose a solution between us that I've done it via automation, and if you want to leverage that in your team as well, let us know. So I've prepared a detailed KT documentation around it. I've created an automation script and given to them so that everyone can use it. And it helped really. Everyone is, now the orphan test cases count is almost a zero. For all the vendors, it's helped 4 vendor teams. So it is appreciated. So I love doing that certain here and knickknack things in the automation front. And I love doing the other thing is I'm known for the detailed KT documentation and user installation guides,
Mhm.
preparing that. I have loved doing that because we have multiple people coming in and out in our teams. So every time you are going back and teaching them how to install the particular product, or how to do certain things. So I've prepared that user installation document. Let's say we have to install the Power BI in our desktop. How do you do that? Let's say you have to put a Dremio in place, right? Dremio database. How you do that? So I prepare the user guides. And Jira also, I have prepared the user guide that helps the UAT users, because we have started with the UAT and they are not well sufficient with the Jira. They are non-technical folks who are sitting, across the globe, and they were struggling with that. So I prepared the detailed KT documentations with images, all those things, and it helps that KT document, helped all the 150 UAT users across
Mhm.
the globe to navigate through Jira and smoothline their processes. So yeah, that I do. That I love doing that.
Got it. Great. Yeah. So what are the different challenges that you have faced so far and how did you overcome them?
Okay, so since we are working on the agile environment, it's
Mm.
sometimes it's very, very difficult to, get the requirements changes accommodated in within the sprint. Let's say we have done development and, we are having a review with business. Now business team wanted a certain change needs to be incorporated. If it is a small changes, we can definitely do that. But if it is a big change, which impacts the dev timeline as well as the QA timelines, so that the struggle part is sometimes we agreed, sometimes we manage between dev and QA, but sometimes it required a whole new CR to get it approved, and that's the pain part. So that is the one thing, and the second thing is multi-vendor team collaboration. Sometimes we wanted some things to be done on certain time limits, right, so that we can start our work. Let's say I wanted a data model to be ready before I start development. The data model is not ready by the time they have committed. Even they have committed, they have delivered, it has 10 issues occurring on it. So that, that reduce our development, and that have a slippage, during our development and testing timelines, that hampers our timelines.
Mm.
So that two things we have encountering on day-to-day basis because we have been dealing this since long. So yeah, to overcome this, we try to, first thing, business requirement changes. We try to, instead of, let's say, earlier what was happening, we completing dev, we are completing QA, and then we are giving demo to the business.
Mm.
Okay. So, then business say, okay, no, this particular functionality should not behave like this.
Correct.
After
Yeah.
seeing this, even though it's mentioned in Jira or stories clearly, they, after seeing the whole product, they have a different perspective.
Mm.
So we try to, what we have done is we try to involve them in an early stage of development. We ask them, okay, we have done the development. Let's say this is the 80% done. We did not do a unit testing now. Like, we have done the development. Can you review it? So we arrange a review call beforehand.
Mm.
And if they have certain requirements changes, we can handle it in during development only. We can accommodate there, so that it will, and accordingly we can update our test cases and test strategy also. So that helps to minimize that kind of requirement change in the later state of development. Rather, we can handle it early. The second thing, the vendor management, we have a clear communications now that we got this thing, we got this data model on this and this time. We have a Teams open channel wherein we collaborate. We have a 4 vendors and sitting in one team channel. We can openly collaborate, communicating with them. We are shooting in emails as and when we are getting the data models. Let's say handover mails. We immediately verify those and we ask them, okay, this is this. We create a tabular kind of view and we say, okay, this things are not done. Please do it ASAP so that we can start development. So we provide a clear communication. We get into a calls if we have blockers or anything with the other teams. We quickly get into calls and we create a Jira ticket and assign to their teams. That's we are doing it.
Right, right.
So
So
it is helping.
yeah, so those kind of working sessions are actually helping when
Hmm.
you have some queries and rather than sending emails or rather than sending DMs or Teams message, it is better to connect on a call, maybe
Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes, and you can conclude those things.
Yes.
Great. Now, let me share the screen. So you have 1000 regression test cases to be executed. Okay. Is the screen
Mhm.
visible to you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So you have 1000 regression test cases to be executed, and you are just left with 4 days to execute, right? And it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have only 4 days, and on Monday
Mhm.
you have the release, right? You can execute only 200 per day. This is with respect to the velocity, with respect to the team size that you have. What will you do in this situation? You need to execute all 1000 because you cannot take any risk. If you left out anything unexecuted, it might turn out to be a defect as well. So how will you deal with this situation?
Okay, so first of all, I'll prioritize those regression test suite, like which one is a high priority regression test cases needs to be executed. So I'll prioritize them. And based on that, first I'll try to finish the priority ones, the test cases, and then so I can yeah, maybe I can do a parallel execution also. We have automation suites running, right? We can do a parallel executions.
Right.
Change an automation script and we test ng. We can do a parallel execution and try to
Mhm.
accommodate all this test cases that I can think of right now.
Mhm. So basically, see, when you get this kind of question, you can figure out, first of all, how much manual effort is there and how much automation effort is
Okay.
there. Manual effort you can do in your daytime hours. Automation you can schedule during the night time. It can trigger and
Yeah.
it can take care. And in the next day morning, you can come and you can analyze those results. Okay, this much have
Mhm.
passed. The failures ones, you can re-execute them manually, or you can rerun the scripts. Right? Sometimes there are issues with respect to delays, or maybe there are issues with respect to environment. If those get failed second time, then again you can confirm whether it's a defect or not. So automation will take care. Now here,
Mhm.
the situation can be that you have both manual as well as automation. If you don't have automation at all, everything is to be taken care by manual, then you can work with the development team and you can ask them for some particular member from them or some resource who
Okay.
can
Yeah.
assist you
I've
in the
done.
testing. And you will assign them the test cases which are documented and which are of kind of low priority. The high priority test cases that you will only take care. But kind of
Okay.
P0, P1 you would
Yeah.
and your team would take care. P2 you can give to them if those are junior developers. If you get some
Yeah.
senior developers help or assistance during this particular release, you can assign them P1 test cases as well. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
this is one of the
I've done
aspects.
that. Yeah.
Then, apart from working with the dev team, you can also work with the cross-functional teams. So you are a lead, right? So you know in another projects, if there is no release coming up, then you can get assistance from one or two testers who are working in some other projects, and you can bring them into your project and you can ask
Mhm.
them to assist you with this kind of testing. So it is working with the
Okay.
cross-functional team. And then the third is, let's say you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The Monday you have the release. So you can ask your team, you can request them if they can take out some time during the weekend, and then you can get them the comp off done. Right. So this is how you can
Okay.
assist them in, so they don't feel that they are working on the leaves or they are working on the holidays, and at the same time the release is being prioritized. But mostly what you can do is you can take P0, P1 things from Tuesday to Friday. You can get them done. And once they are good, once you are good with 800, 850 test cases, Monday again, you have the US client or you have the UK client. So their morning would be bit lagging from the IST hours. So that time
Yes.
also you can
Yes.
utilize to some extent.
Yes.
Okay, you can
Got
call
it.
your team, you can tell your team to come early on Monday and they can start their work soon because you have a release, you have to send the sign off mail maybe during their morning itself, during your client's morning. So you have to wind up, you have to wrap it up every time. So those particular things also you can take care. Okay. So this is one of the thing. Okay, now consider, mm, hmm, consider a scenario where you have a release and it's a major release, okay, which has got nearly 12 to 15 enhancements that is going to go on, let's say uh, today's 7th of October. Okay, and you are daily connecting with the client or with the stakeholders, for a Scrum call. So you are having the agile and you are connecting with them on a Scrum call, and they came up with the thing that one of their business user is getting one of the issue as very frequently. It's not an intermittent issue. It is something that they are getting
Mm.
an issue. So this, they are talking about maybe P0 or P1 issue that they are
Okay.
facing frequently in the production environment. Okay. And
Okay.
they ask you to fix it and push the same in this particular release, which you are going to do on 7th of October. And today is, let's say, 4th of October. So you are left with 2 days. And you have release testing in parallel going on. You have the release things, release activities. Code freeze is already done because you have a release in just 2 days. What would you do in this situation? Have you ever faced this kind of a situation?
Yeah. So, yes, so not exactly this kind of, but we got a latent defect. We had a release 4 day after 4 days, and we got a latent defect, and that was very it's a very impact piece, it's a high priority defect we got. And then I discussed with my dev. We got a meeting with dev, QA, and project manager, and we thought of this, like how much effort is required to fix that particular defect, and how much impact we have to do in terms of testing, regression testing, and the retesting of that particular defect.
Hmm.
So yeah, in this situation, the stakeholder, or they are getting the defect. So I will check with my dev team how much time they will take to fix that defect, and I will assess that. Then we will check on that particular defect fix how much impact is there. We have to, how much regression testing we have to do in order to see it should not break the existing functionality. That assessment we have to do, and based on that, we have to take this, since it's already happening in the client environment. We need to fix it because we are having an ongoing release. So we'll ask dev team to fix it, and we'll request them to get the help from dev team that do as much as unit testing possible on their end, uh, so that they are also make sure that nothing has been broken by fixing this particular functionality. Also, I pull out some defect retest is another story, but I have to see potential regression test cases which we need to cover in order to check the change in whatever changes we have done, whatever fix we have done, it is impacting that particular area. We have to manage that regression. Let's say it's a one of the regression reservation flow, particularly that area. So how many regression APIs we have to run in order to have a maximum test coverage. Based on that, we will come up with a plan, and we'll have a dedicated resource uh, to work on that, and along with the dev team, and we'll get it done.
So what is that thing called that you are actually identifying the regression areas or regression test cases scenarios to validate nothing has been broken? What is that thing called? Right, that is called as impact analysis.
Oh, okay.
Right? You'll have a word with the dev team and you'll do that impact analysis and you'll share those things with the client. You'll get
Yes.
them you'll get that approval on a mail, because it should not happen that last minute changes you are pushing in and nothing. It is, see, again, it is not like you will be telling them that because of you we did all these things, but you have to go in a very professional angle. You have to look from every other angle, because it should not happen that people will start telling you, see, as a QA you did not do testing, you'll tell as a dev you did not tell me about this thing. So get that particular approval from client itself, and also tell them that these are the impact analysis done and this much is the X amount of time that would take from both dev as well as from QA perspective. Okay. And accordingly, you can ask them if they want like to go with that ahead or not. Now here, one more cross question that you can get is, what if you pushed the change? The development team identified the fix, you tested it. Still on 7th of October release, still that issue is still persisting. In that case, what would you do? And it might, you might also be getting this thing that the changes has been pushed, and earlier it was not that much worrisome or that much kind of a frequent. Now it is happening with every other project, with every other job.
Oh.
Then what would you do? So in this case, see, when you are going with this impact analysis, you have to go for this rollback as well, right? So you'll push, but what is the impact? So you can also roll back the changes that you are doing.
Okay.
So that thing also you have to tell them whether this is a kind of a microservice change, or whether it's a DLL change, or whether it's a just an API change, or if it's just a one line of code change. So how much feasible is to roll back the change as well? That is also important, right? Because you don't know. See, we cannot predict what would happen in the future.
Yeah.
So you have to think from all the directions. Generally, what do we think is we think positive, right? We feel the changes would be done. Yeah, everything would be working fine. But at times, the things don't go as we are thinking them to, as we are expecting them to work. And at this, in this particular scenario, you have to showcase them both the aspects. See, if it works, then it is fine. But if it is not working, then we have a chances of rollback as well. And meanwhile, you have to get them confidence. See, we are also going to do testing. We have identified these many scenarios, these many regulation things, which we would be taking care. But let's say tomorrow, if it is not 100% fixed because we are applying the last minute changes, right?
Yes.
Those kind of things you have to tell. You have to tell it's a risk. It's a risk. Code freeze is already done. Why to unlock those particular branches and push the code? It's a risk. But since you are telling, we are doing it. But since we are doing it, again, we are not very much sure.
Yeah. Got it.
So you have to be diplomatic in these particular answers.
Yes.
Okay. Now, okay, what kind of work environment or what kind of domain you are looking forward?
So I have been part of telecommunication domain, and past 8 years I've been working on the hospitality domain. I would really like to work now with the healthcare or banking sector domain, uh, because it has a lot of data involved in it, that I pretty much interested on it basically. That I'm looking both the sectors. Like,
Okay, okay. Yeah, great. Vinita, I'm done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
yeah. So not really. Like how to deal with this such kind of situations, you already told me, but yeah, just wanted to check my feedback on you.
Sure.
Uh,